We are back, and Brad is with me now. So for those of you who don't know Brad, I feel like probably a lot of you know Brad because he makes his presence known. He's hilarious and he does a lot of business. So if you don't know him, again, he's been in the industry for a very long time. He has managed to make this business quite stable, and he does a lot of volume. So I think there's probably a lot of secrets in your secret sauce. We shall see.
Maybe.
We shall see. Anyway, so welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just get right into it. So you've had a lot of years of success. What did you do in the beginning of your career to really set yourself up?
So I got into real estate in June of 1999.
Okay.
I was the youngest guy in the office. I went from the youngest guy into the office to not the youngest guy in the office very fast. What I did do to set myself up, I did one thing right. I did a lot of things wrong. It's kind of like the old real estate joke. I sold so much in my first 2 years. I sold my bicycle, sold my stereo, sold my TV. But you know, a lot of people may or may not know this. I ran a health club in the early 90s, mid to late 90s, Pro Bodies in Marteloup. It's now Go Performance. So it's a massive gym. And this is before Marteloup was really that trendy place. So I started doing, I worked my way up from cleaning equipment all the way up to membership sales. And then the membership sales is a little, that real always be closing kind of sales. Yeah. It just wasn't my thing. And I ended up being the pro shop manager. And it was just a really, really rewarding career, but not financiaily. And when I was kind of looking at something to do when I grew up, that I thought maybe I would get into that. And what I did do right, sorry, I kind of trailed off there a bit.
That's okay.
Was that we had 2,000 active members. And when I say active, I mean paying. We had probably 500 really active members. And I knew everybody on a first and last name basis. And I would say hi to them every time. How's your workout? And we big small talk. So I told everybody that I was getting into real estate. So I had a listing waiting for me 3 days into my licensing. The guy beat me up on commission, beat me up on price, told me what to do. I had no idea. You know, here's your stack of business cards. Get out there and sell real estate. And you're so terrified to do anything that you're scared you're going to get sued. So, but anyways, long story short, with that, nothing's changed there. But it's gotten better. It's gotten better. Remember the contract used to be 2 pages. Now it's
that predates me.
Yeah. Okay. But anyways, so I told everybody, and I did that the right way. You know, I told my database, I told my warm market. And I had a listing waiting for me. And I sold 3 houses, 3 high-end condos, my first month and a half in real estate.
Wow.
But I was 23 or 24 at the time, super cocky, young, single. And I thought, this is a license to print money. And I just sat back and waited for my phone to ring. And it didn't. And then I went into, about a year and a half of just not great business. So what I did do wrong was I sort of hitched my wagon to the wrong people. Some of the older agents that were in the office that maybe they've already made their living. Maybe they've already, they've gotten their jet off the ground kind of thing, right? It takes so much fuel to get that jet off the ground. I kind of liken it to a water pump when you're pumping and pumping and pumping and then the water comes. You don't just stop pumping. But you don't have to pump as hard, right? The water just kind of flows.
That is a really good way to look at that.
Yeah, you're spinning plates, right? In real estate. One of the hardest things to do in real estate is not learning the business, it's getting the business and trying to get those people in. So, I would go to the office and hang out with these older guys that all they wanted to do was go for lunch and drink beer and things that I hadn't earned that right yet. So, it took me a long time to find those right people. And a little secret when we say that I'm 22 years in the business, I did 10 years in the business and I was burned out. I was doing a lot of new home sales. And I actually got into financial planning. I got my licensing and everything. And I thought, this will be great. This will be awesome. And people will be lined up. We'll just talk to my old database and they'll want to buy RSPs and they'll want to buy life insurance. And nobody did. And I went basically 2 years without a paycheck. But what I did learn at that company was camaraderie and sharing and being around like-minded people. And I did learn a work ethic from that. And I thought, if I would have worked this hard in real estate, I would have been retired by now, ironically. So I went back into real estate and I loved it. And then that's when I took Ninja and I just hit the ground running. Mindset is so important in this business. So when you ask me what I did do right in my first year or my first couple of years, I did a lot of things wrong. But just build that database.
That's all part of it, though.
Going. Yeah.
The failures, and everyone talks about it. Every top producer that I've sat down with talks about this failure that they experience, and it's just reality. Like, you're not going to succeed without that part. The part of success is figuring out what doesn't work too. So it's interesting that you bring that up also. But in the beginning, you talked about how you came in with like 3 deals back to back. And it sounds like when you were transitioning into real estate, you started talking about real estate with everyone, and you were pumping your water pump, and you're doing all the things to make the business come, and it worked.
Yeah.
And something that I see time and time again with not just new agents, with all types of agents, is that they're pumping their water pump and they're doing the work and they're doing all the things, and then a couple of deals come and they forget to keep pumping it.
Yes.
And it shuts the water off, and then you have to start over. And that's what we see in this industry over and over again, is this like up and down and this roller coaster ride, because you do the work and then you're riding high and you're doing the deals, and then you stop doing the work and you crash down, and it's just
my God. Absolutely.
this up and down. So
absolutely. I'm a big analogy guy, but it's like spinning plates, right? It's the doing the business, and then it's the getting the business, and then it's family, it's fitness, it's whatever is important to you. And you got to keep kind of going through and spinning those plates. And I can be a bit of a slow learner. And the first couple sales streaks that you go on, you think, okay, I got it. This is it.
This is it. I'm good
I'll
forever
never have
now.
to prospect again. And it took me 10 years to figure that out, right?
Yeah.
So again, I can tend to be a bit of a slow learner. But what I did my second 10 years is completely different. And that was change your mindset. And that is the most important thing in this business, is just getting that mindset right.
So how do you do that?
Well, Ninja helped me with that. And the thing that changed my life, literally, not just my business, it's made me a better person. It's made me a better husband. It's helped me set goals in my personal life, my professional life. But the mindset portion of Ninja, I was kind of already going down that pathway anyways.
Yep.
But it's so important, and I always tell the story. When I was telling everybody at the gym, I was getting into real estate, including my boss at the time, who I was making him a lot of money, said, "Oh, that's a really tough business. I don't know if you can do that. I'm not sure."
Yeah.
And then my parents, they were a little supportive, but I could tell that they were a little nervous. And then it's all you hear, right? Is people, "Oh, my cousin did that. That's a tough business. That's a tough business.
Right.
Oh, no paycheck, no benefits. Oh, that's a tough business."
Yeah.
It's all you hear, and you're just browbeaten. And then you take this course. Now, this is before your time, but I took the course in class downtown at the old Calgary Real Estate Board.
Okay.
And it was old cubicles. I couldn't even tell you where the building is right now, but it was 3 weeks, and we would have different speakers teaching different modules. And we had lawyers come in, and Lou Pesta would come in and, don't do this or you're going to get sued. Don't do this or you're going to get sued.
I was in that format also.
Yeah.
A couple years behind you, but.
Yeah. And then finally, Dick Oakes from Sutton at the time, he came in and he says, and it was a little cheesy, but that's Dick. He said, you take a willing buyer and a willing seller, you put them together, and out falls a commission. It's that simple. So just take care of your people. Yeah. And I just thought, what a breath of fresh air that this guy is. So ultimately, I did go with his partner, Ron. And, I think that's all it is stop telling yourself that this business is hard. When I got into the banking industry, that's hard, right?
Fair
That
enough.
was my hard. That was my, you're making an $800 commission off a life insurance policy and you forgot one initial and you can't do electronic signatures. Maybe you can in that industry now. This was 10
Maybe
years
now,
ago.
yeah.
But, you've got to drive to Airdrie for one initial. And I thought, if I ever got back into real estate, I would never complain about real estate compliance again, because it's so ridiculous in the other
The
industry.
conveyancing department would love to hear you say that one more time.
I feel like I'm under duress. Right? But yeah, so that's what I really, it's so
It's all in
important.
your head.
Mindset. It's all in your head. It's all in your head. So, with that, like they say, motivation is like a shower. You need it daily.
Yeah.
It was at Jim Rohn who said that, but I'm a bit of a,
I like all the metaphors.
I really do.
So good.
I really do. If you go down into my basement, I hate the word man cave, but I have my little gym there that I can sneak in a workout, and I've got all the quotes and I've got all the stuff that kind of drive me, right? And I even have a laminated shower card in my shower that I read daily, to start my day. Yeah,
That's
I'm
impressive.
Like that. I am big into affirmations and writing down my affirmations. I love listening to podcasts or books on tape, but when I'm going into what I call showing mode, it's either I'm on my way to do a listing consultation or meet buyers or anything. It's always a good playlist. I have my top kind of 10, 50, 20 songs or whatever, and you get into that mood.
I have to say that
motivated. You
are very consistently a positive person. And I see a lot of people come in and out of the office all the time. And I don't know how you do that all the time, but maybe that's part of it, is that, you're doing all these, your steps every day. You're reading your card in the shower. You're, looking at your walls that have your motivating factors on them. You're listening to positive things in the car and in your head and all these things. And I don't think I've ever seen you walk in the office in a funk.
Yeah. Well, consistency over intensity always, right?
Yeah.
So when I say I'm old now, I can't work out like I used to, but as long as I get in there and get it done and get my little sweat, as long as I'm doing all these little tiny, like Larry Kendall says, they're easy to do, but they're also easy not to do, right?
Yeah.
So, and one of the things that I learned that a light switch went off is in Ninja. I forget who said it. I actually met the lady who said it, but she said, at any given time, you can be a player or a victim, and nobody wants to do business with a victim. So if you're, hey, Brad, how's it going? How's life? Taking too long. If you're that or who wants to deal with that?
The black cloud
I don't want to
effect.
be like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some people are like clouds. Your day gets better when they get lost. But nobody wants to be around that, right?
No, and that will affect your business in a big way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I was that guy my first 10 years in real estate, complaining about everything.
Okay.
And
interesting.
Yeah. So I had
I never knew that version of Brad.
Yeah, no, I've worked on myself a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
it's actually awesome.
But it's all in the language we tell ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to show houses this weekend. I get to. And I know it's a little cheesy, but it's so important,
Yeah, it's a privilege.
It really is, and I think gratitudes are so, so important. I grew up in Northern Alberta. I didn't do a lot of university or college. I just was born with a bit of a gift of gab, and I can't picture myself doing anything else but real estate.
Yeah.
But it was like when our first daughter was born, and my wife was like, are you going out to the office? And she didn't care what I did for work when she was working.
Right.
And then I said, okay, I need to work. Okay, well, what are you doing tomorrow? Well, I'm going for lunch with Chloe at 11:30 or 11:45. Then I have a coffee appointment with, and I think she was thinking like, it must be nice.
Yeah.
But, it's I kind of forgot where I was going with that. But, that's what I said with her. I said, it's really all I'm qualified for. It's either that or I go up and work on the rigs for 2-3 weeks at a time. What do you want? And I hope she doesn't see this. but really, like that's it. So I'm very grateful that I get to do this business.
Well, you've got the skills, that's for sure.
Well, I think that's
And
a
the
thing that
mindset.
you need to change in your, people joke about how real estate's almost a fallback career or something like that. And, it just stop treating it like.
Yeah, if you treat it that way, it will be that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love it.
Holy rambling
Okay.
on. I've had a lot of coffee today. I'm sorry.
No, it's so good. I didn't even have to ask you question 2. You just answered it. So
I'll tell you.
Awesome. Okay. Aside from mindset, because we've talked a little bit about that, and I think that's hugely important, but what are a few things that you do consistently in your business that you think help create that stability in it rather than the peaks and valleys situation that we talked about earlier?
So, again, the morning routine is so key. If you look at, and I can't remember where I read this stat or heard this stat, but if you ever listen to the Tim Ferriss podcast,
okay,
I think it's like he interviews the best of the best, the top CEOs, the top athletes. And if you listen to them, I think it's something like 82% of his guests have a morning routine.
So what's your morning routine?
So I sleep until, no, I'm kidding.
I have a coffee.
No, I get up, I do a little stretch. It's tough with young kids because I get up with the kids in the morning. So I try to get up before them.
Okay.
But our youngest sort of doesn't really have that routine set yet. But it's stretching, it's affirmations, it's write a thank you card or a personal note if I have them. I don't beat myself up too much with the personal notes. Sometimes I'll do 50 in a week. Sometimes I won't do one in a week. But affirmations are really key for me. And then it's just thinking about how my day is going to be. You just set that intention. If you wake up expecting to have a good or a bad day, you'll rarely disappoint yourself.
Yeah.
You're
accurate.
That stuff is, you just manifested that. And I don't like even using that word, but it's really true. It's so important, right? So, and then I usually try to have a little workout, or I'll take my dog for a walk and just kind of set your head, get some fresh air, things like that. So, yeah.
I love it. So you take some personal time to get your head on straight. Remind yourself why you're doing this every day. I like, you kind of brushed over it, but you spend time with your family every morning. You wake up early with your kids. That's not something everybody does. No. And it might seem second nature to you, but for a lot of people, that is their motivating factor too. And that's just an easy reminder of like, hey, I've got this great family and this is really cool that I get to spend some time with them in the morning.
For sure. My definition of success is balance and harmony in your life. And there's no point in having $1 million in the bank account if you're, a piece of work at home, or you're a bad husband or a bad father.
Yeah.
There's no point in having 0% body fat if you're a body part, and you're just an awful human being. So, just kind of getting that balance. I've never been one of those realtors that go to the office just to go to the office and say that I work 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
Because that's how you can, I heard your thing earlier about avoiding burnout. I think that's one way of getting to burnout, is going there and focusing on just useless activities, right? Really focusing on that productive time.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to work on the weekends unless I'm out with buyers and sellers. Now, I'm not a new agent. If you're a new agent, get out there. Get that jet off the ground, baby. You got to work. You got to hustle. But, for me, I'm not, and I try to do it so I'll stack my appointments on Saturday so we have Sunday off, or vice versa, depending on my clients. And my wife is really, really understanding, and she kind of knows that, I could sit here and say my family comes first, and they do, but sometimes the clients kind of have to, they're the ones paying the bills, right? So like Tony Robbins says, you can bliss out all you want, but eventually somebody's going to come and take your furniture, right? If you're not paying the bills. So it's that balance.
Well, and when you're talking about balance, you're also really talking about time management. When you say that you stack everything into Saturday so that you can have Sunday with your family, that's you being effective with your time. And that's a skill that you've obviously learned over time that you might not even recognize that you're doing. And that's something that I think a lot of new agents struggle, not just new agents, lots of agents struggle with, is that they get so bogged down in, showing every single day of the week, or open houses on the weekend and showing Monday to Friday, and they just lose sight of that balance too, which is important. So
yeah, and then they're working. It's unless you're a night owl, and I used to be a night owl, but they're working on their business at 3 a.m. They're doing this, and I don't know. I really like. I think personally, the best habit to do right from the get-go is to work on your business during the day. Work in your business. Oh my God!
Work on your business during the day. Work in your business evenings, weekends.
That's right. Thank you. I got my tangle up and back and talked. Yeah, but it's important to do that and really kind of treat it consistently like a business.
Yeah.
And if I'm not out showing in the evening, or I'm not doing a listing consultation, I'm home bathing my kids and I'm putting them to bed. That's my personal promise. I'm not out wasting my time or getting drunk with a client because that's what you have to do in the business or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you can find those people, and it's kind of what you focus on expands.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
The first 10 years of my business, I did a lot of late nights, and because that's what I thought the business was.
Right.
And the business is whatever you want it to be. So find out what it is, right?
Yes.
If you want to build a business where you're golfing every day, and that's your niche, or you want to deal with internet leads, then that's your niche.
Yep.
But find what works for you.
I love it. Okay. I am going to skip down to number 5.
Okay.
What systems can you not live without?
My central nervous system and no, I don't know. I'm not really a systems guy.
Okay, fair.
I'm really a fly by the seat of my pants kind of guy. I have the attention span of a squirrel with a cocaine habit. So I took Ninja twice before I actually had a database.
Okay.
I'm that guy.
Okay, all right.
So I go,
you're probably very relatable for a lot of people.
It's Chloe's birthday today. I'll call her today. But I didn't know it was Chloe. Whereas now I know it's your birthday a week in advance, and I can send out the card and things like that, right? So I do work on my database, and I don't, in my personal opinion, and I hope nobody from Ninja actually sees this, Garrett Fry and I have had conversations about it many times. I think the flow with Ninja is a little too much, and I think there's some translation issues between the US and Canada. And I think if you're touching your database more than once a month, twice a month even, I think it's a little too much.
That's fair. And like the whole thing about it is that you're taking the concepts, like this is how I've always felt, at least, because I tweaked Ninja to work for me also, because I love the philosophies that are in Ninja. But yeah, like not everything is going to fit perfectly, and you just have to take the pieces of whatever systems you're using and just make it work for you. Because the reality is, if you don't like what you're doing, or if it doesn't feel right to you in your gut, you're not going to do it. So you just have to make it work for you.
Exactly. And growing up in Northern Alberta, running a health club, I've worked in nightclubs, bouncing. I used to beat people up for a living. I was a doorman. So I know the best of the people, the cream of the crop of Calgary, but I also know some pretty undesirable people too that are a little maybe rough around the edges. And I'm not going to phone up a biker friend of mine and wish him a happy birthday or sing him a happy birthday. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
So you have to know your audience. And I'm not saying it's a one size fits all.
No.
But definitely there's something. And that was the first course I've ever taken or book I've ever read that just clicked instantly for me. And it was so
But you had to take it twice still.
I took it twice. And I don't know if you remember the green piece of paper where it says, if you ever have any great ideas, just write them up here that you want to do.
Okay.
And I took it, and I took my old Ninja binder with me 2 years later, and I still had only done a handful of those things. So again, I can tend to be a slow learner. But it goes back to your motivation, right? I just took another Ninja shower.
Yeah.
And then I went back later and I did the Ninja retreat, which is you have to take the installation at least once. And it was all kind of the best teaching their philosophies and everything.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. That was the board breaking ceremony.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really cool. So.
Did you actually get to break a board?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was kind of it was sort of it was almost like the fire walking with Tony Robbins.
Okay.
But
I don't know.
It was the ninja.
I don't know it.
The board breaking. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Last question.
Sorry, no.
Last question.
Okay.
If an agent came up to you today and asked you what the secret ingredient is to your recipe, what would you say?
I'd say, get lost, kid. No, I would say, no, because, when I got into real estate, I was blown away by these realtors that you see on the bus bench and they're smiling and you see them in real life and they're not that approachable or friendly.
Yeah.
So I'm an open book if you ever want to talk to me or ever have any questions or anything. Now, I will warn you, I'm not an internet lead guy. I'm real estate is all about people. It's not about houses at all. It's about people. People will never, they always buy their whys. They never buy their whats.
I love it.
And if their why's powerful enough, they're going to move. If they've just had triplets and they can't afford a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom house, they're going to find a way, probably.
Yeah.
Right? So, but my advice is find out what type of business you want to run. Maybe it is an internet lead business. Maybe you want to throw a ton of money on search engine optimization. But find out what business you want. Maybe you want to farm an area a little bit. Maybe you just want to go after your database and your warm market, people you already know. That's going to make you burn a little bit more gas, and you're going to be driving a little bit more because you're going to have clients in Airdrie and all over the city and Calgary and Okotoks. If you want to farm an area, just figure out what you want to do. And then success leaves clues. Find the realtor or the person in your office or the person online. Maybe it's an online coach or something that is going to teach you how to do that.
Success leaves clues. I like that.
Yeah. So, and then set your goals. What do you want your business to look like in 5 years? For me, I couldn't see past that $13,000 that I made in my first month and a half, and started spending money like a moron, right? Invest it back into your business, things like that. So, and then there's so much advice I would give, but keep that baseline low too. So don't get a couple deals under your belt and think you're all that. Go out and lease a $2,000 Mercedes or whatever it is. Just, you look at people in Ninja, they're 100 ends a year and they're driving a Jeep, like a Cherokee. So a nice Jeep, but not.
They're humble.
Not super. They're very humble,
yeah.
And they know that there's going to be ebbs and flows. And I never want to sit in somebody's kitchen and be thinking to myself, just sign the contract. I need to make my mortgage payment this week. I want to always do right by my clients. So, some people want that motivation.
You had so many golden nuggets in that. There's so many things that you just said that were just so good.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish I could just pause it and be like, this is one and this is one. It's so good.
Yeah. So that's what I would say. Just, hitch your wagon to the right people. And there's so many people. That's one thing about Team Blue is it's just so great. There's so many. There's just an abundance of people out there. And,
a lot of good ones.
I've learned so much being here. And, there's a top producer in the office right now. Saw him last year at the coffee station. How's your year going? And we're talking, how many ends have you done this year? And I told him, wow, I'm not there yet. And he's better than me. He's a more top producing agent than I am. And he's gooder. But, he said, let's go for lunch. I want to pick your brain. You can, whatever's left of it, you can have, and I love that collaboration, and we taught each other things. I taught him some stuff. He taught me some things. So when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I look back on my career earlier and when I was so young, and I don't know if I can complain about the people in my office and who I hitched to, but maybe I wasn't ready. I don't know. So, I'd love to have a time machine and try it again, but who knows?
You're here now. Now you're one of the leaders. So there you go.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I so appreciate everything you just said. I feel like I need to go back and take notes. And
I feel like I rambled a lot, so I apologize.
Awesome. No, thank you. Thank you so much. Everyone, have such a great week. It was nice to kind of see you through the screen. Hope you have an awesome time. Talk to you soon.